Shadows of Doubt. Once upon a time, in a small town surrounded by mountains and rivers, lived a man named John. John had been happily married to his cousin Mary for 18 years. She was the perfect wife and mother to their 4 sons and 1 daughter. John always prayed for their well-being. Recently, John was diagnosed with a prostate condition, and during the checkups and tests, he discovered something shocking. He was infertile and unable to father children. This revelation drove John into a state of turmoil. How could he be infertile with 5 children? Doubt and suspicion began to cloud his mind. He decided to seek a second opinion to ensure he wasn't wrongly accusing his wife. John collected hair samples from his children and sent them to a laboratory for testing. The doctor informed him that the results would take a month to be ready. John was desperate for answers but had to wait. The uncertainty gnawed at him daily. At home, his children greeted him with their usual affection, but John couldn't reciprocate. He yelled at them, causing them to retreat in fear. His wife, Mary, ushered the children to their rooms and asked John what was wrong. He looked at her, filled with anger and suspicion. Instead of confiding in her, he lied, saying he was just tired and exhausted. Mary offered to make him food, but he refused and sat alone in the living room, lost in thought. Days passed, and John returned to the lab, hoping for an early result. But the doctor told him it would take another week. Frustration and anxiety consumed John. He decided to visit his best friend, James, who owned an import-export business. James had always been there for John, helping him through various problems. When John entered James' office, James immediately sensed something was wrong. Unable to hold back his emotions, John burst into tears. James, concerned, asked John to explain everything. John hesitated but eventually shared his fears and doubts. James listened carefully and then reassured John that his children were indeed his and that Mary was a faithful and honorable woman. He told John that many men had similar conditions but still had children, and the tests would confirm his paternity. James' words comforted John, and he decided to return home. At home, Mary asked why he was late. John snapped at her, raising his voice. His children approached him, but he harshly told them to stay away. He spent another night on the couch, feeling his heart break with every moment. The next morning, John took care of some errands and visited James again. As he arrived, he saw Mary leaving James' office. He was puzzled and decided to confront her. Mary explained that she had visited James to talk about John's changed behavior and their family problems. She pleaded with John to share his burdens with her. The next day, John angrily confronted James, asking why he hadn't mentioned Mary's visit. James explained that he was afraid John's current state of mistrust would cause him to suspect even his closest friends. James suggested that John install hidden cameras in his house to monitor everything and ease his doubts. John liked the idea and bought 2 small cameras, installing them in strategic places. He left for a supposed work trip to Alexandria, informing Mary about his plan to stay away for a few days. Mary, hurt by his behavior, didn't protest. John then went to James' office to discuss his plan and shared his fears. While having lunch, John checked his phone to monitor the cameras. To his shock, he saw their neighbor, who was a doctor, entering his house with Mary. Furious, John rushed home with James following behind. Inside, John confronted Mary and the neighbor, resulting in a heated argument. The neighbor explained that their son had fallen seriously ill and needed immediate medical attention. He had entered their home to help the child, not to betray John's trust. Unfortunately, their son passed away due to a severe fever, leaving John devastated. Blaming himself for his son's death, John was filled with guilt and remorse. James took John to the lab to get the test results. The doctor confirmed that the children were indeed John's. John felt a mix of relief and sorrow, realizing his mistrust had caused more harm than good. John underwent a minor surgery to treat his condition, and gradually, his relationship with Mary improved. He apologized to her and to his children, dedicating himself to rebuilding their lives. They began to heal as a family, bound by love and trust. Years later, John visited his son's grave, reflecting on the lessons learned. He promised to be a better father and husband, valuing the love and trust they had rebuilt. Through this journey, John learned that true love and trust could overcome even the darkest doubts. And so, John's family continued to live with love, hope, and resilience, proving that with faith and dedication, any challenge could be overcome. And so my story ends. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to receive all that is new. Have a nice day.